And welcome back to Relationship Wednesday. This is Life and Style. We are on Talk to Pastor Chris. Hope that you have been inspired by the story of the couple that has just been right over there. You know, sometimes you've got to have it real life for you to see and for you to believe. Well, I've got a panel over here, but I want you to remember to get to follow us on our social media platforms at KTN Life _ Style, both for Twitter and Instagram. KTN Life and Style for Facebook. You could also follow me at CJ Atemo on Instagram, on Facebook, the page CJ Atemo, and also on Twitter. We're going to be talking today about love without attraction, whether that exists.
I don't believe that it actually exists.
You don't believe?
I don't.
Well, and we're coming to you from the Panari. We are the Ruby Lounge restaurant, so you could also check out this place. Come in with your friends, come in with your family, come in with your business partners, and, you know, just hang out over here while you're doing business, while you're relaxing and winding yourself. It's a beautiful place to be. Well, Lucy, you say there's nothing like that that exists.
Yes.
Why do you think so?
Well, love without attraction, first of all, in order for there to exist, in order for there to be love, you need to be attracted to someone. The other day I was listening to one of the pastors on YouTube. I can't remember his name, but he was talking about 5 things that really define love. And I'm
glad you listen to pastors.
Yes, I do. I do. What do you mean? Yes. It might even have been Miles Monroe, also a very good speaker. But he was talking about how the first thing that that needs to be there in order for love to develop is very basically chemistry. You know, there's got to be chemistry between the two of you. Then you've got to connect on another level. You know, you grow together. You've got to be friendly with each other, friends. The friendship has to be there. All this is attraction. So where does chemistry come from? It comes from me seeing somebody, being attracted to them, you know, they're attracted to me, and they want to get to know me a little better, right? And then, of course, there were other little things like, you know, you've got to have your own purpose so that you complement each other, your companions, you're working towards something. So you've got to be attracted, you know, emotionally, spiritually, physically. But can it exist? Can love really exist with no type of attraction? Absolutely not. Maybe we can be friends. Yeah?
Attraction and love. Number one, I want to comment that attraction fades. And once attraction has faded, if there is no love, then there's no relationship. I want to believe that relationship, yes, it is chemistry, related to chemistry, but love takes commitment. And what is this love commitment? This is a love that does not demand perfectionism, for you to be perfection. It is a committed love that we simply love together or live together or have decided to live together and do the simple things of life together. I know, if I may mention, in the African context, I remember our grandmothers would be married to men who they didn't love. I mean, who they didn't get attracted to. There was an agreement.
All right. Let me just get Dr. Shogo coming in. What is the definition of love then? Yeah, your microphone close.
I'll say love is a responsibility.
Okay.
Love is a choice.
All right.
And love is a decision. So, when we look at love...
I didn't hear anything about emotion right there.
No, this is it. Because the truth of the matter is, emotions are fleeting.
All right.
There are times that you look at your spouse, you look at your girlfriend, or your fiancé.
Go ahead and say it.
As in, you feel like walking away, but that staying power is love. And that love is a decision.
All right.
So, fine, love is an emotion, but beyond the emotion, it's a decision.
Okay.
To stick with something, to stick with someone.
All right. So you agree with Milka that people can love each other without attraction?
Yes.
Now, I agree with her and I don't agree with her.
That's why you're sitting in the middle.
Because this is it. Let's say this, that attraction is like the first contact.
Okay.
You have to be attracted to something first before you decide whether I love this thing or not. I remember, let's do this analogy. Moses had to be attracted to the burning bush.
Okay.
Before a message was passed across to him.
All right.
So attraction catches your attention.
Okay.
But attraction is not enough to sustain a relationship.
Well,
So let's say
there's really something right there. Attraction catches your attention. Yeah, yeah.
But attraction is not enough to sustain a relationship. Now let's look at this this way. You're attracted to this fine girl. You're attracted to this handsome man. Now you fell in love. God forbid, maybe the man or the lady had an accident. One eye is gone. So will the love go?
All right, all right.
This is why we are saying, this is why I'd like to differ, is that you're only looking at attraction. You could be attracted to someone's character. You could be attracted to someone's, personality. You're attracted to so many things about them other than just the physical appearance, right? And so there must be some level of attraction, and it must remain over the years.
I agree.
If it doesn't remain, then there's no this is why marriages fall apart and relationships are, I suppose, and even, friendships, because we're no longer attracted. There's nothing really connecting us. So love cannot exist if there is no...
Okay, let me go back. I love your very strong points, and you have a way to find your way. But I still want to get to the place where we're defining this thing that is love. Because it is obvious that a marriage can work without attraction. But can love work without attraction? The people who get married is more like a transaction. It's an arrangement of sorts. You bring what you're bringing to the table, I bring what I'm bringing to the table. We need each other. And we need the perception created that we are married, or maybe it's a business kind of arrangement. I know you take care of the bills, I do this, and that works. But I'm still trying to understand this aspect of love without attraction. Because you say people would get together, then they begin to like each other. Okay, what do you think would inform that, Dr. Sugar? What would make two people who were not attracted to each other come together and then begin to get attracted to each other?
I feel what could make that happen is accepting fate. Now I've entered this relationship. But by the way, we can compare the generation of our grandparents to this present 21st century. People walk in and walk out of marriage now. The respect that was placed on marriage institution then is not as strong as now.
Yes, because we are going for the physical, material things. But if we were to dwell on the true love, what you were explaining about responsibility, commitment, and all that, then we would sustain our marriages.
Okay. So, as I was saying, it occurs, or it could occur as a result of, okay, now this is my cup, I need to drink it. Let me just look at this man, let me look at this woman, let me see what I love, what I like, what I'm attracted to. Because the truth of the matter is, the principle of growth is attention. Anything you pay attention to grows. So if you pay attention to the man, to the woman, even though you matchmake, you will realize that, okay, I'm seeing something I love. I'm seeing something I like. I'm seeing something I'm attracted to. It could be his generosity. It could be a tender heart. Yeah.
So should we say that how we feel about people is more about our attitude towards them, that we lock out people just because of the attitude we have, and if we give them a chance, it is possible for us to fall in love with them?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I disagree.
Absolutely possible.
No, it's not. Listen, like he said, it being a responsibility, it's something that you can grow into. Listen, my attitude or someone's attitude towards someone, fine, you change it, you like them, you get to know them, but you make a decision. This is an individual decision. Falling in love with someone and making a decision that you're going to be with them, perhaps be in a relationship, spend the rest of your life with them, just based on, getting to know them more. There are small little things that you can be able to tell from the get-go, all right? And if you can't feel them, then, don't waste time. In this life, there's no time to waste. Time is going. Look, the world has changed.
I need to hear your thoughts. I need to hear your thoughts. So you get onto Twitter, the hashtag is KTN Life and Style, the hashtag is Talk to Pastor Chris. Do you think that you can sustain love without attraction? You wanted to say something, Monica?
Yes. I was going to talk of my personal experience. Yes, that attraction that is there could not have sustained my marriage this long if that is what I was depending on. But the love has sustained it because, again, love is unconditional. I need to look beyond the physical attraction, the ability to do a few things here and there. Yes, we have personal choices. But then again, in these personal choices, we need to give room. Sometimes we have to do away with boundaries where relationships or marriage are concerned. Yes? So you cannot just stick to attraction, saying without attraction, marriage can't, or rather love can't stay or can't be sustained. It definitely can.
I want to bring something to you, Dr. Sugar, because when we're talking about the African context, then you say this generation is different. Is that why we're getting it wrong?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So should we go back to the place where, you know, we just arrange for people?
Not really. Not really, but
it's so amazing.
Well, if it was working, why?
It's so amazing that in this generation, there are a lot of things that people now use as social status. You use cars, you use suits, you use relationship, even though you don't have a genuine feeling. Or you rush into a relationship and you're not yet matured for the relationship. Then there's something I discovered from my counseling sessions, that a lot of babies are going into marriages these days. And that is the reason why a lot of marriages are not surviving the first 5 years. Now, this is what happens. You graduate from primary school. When you were in secondary school or primary school, you had double promotion. Now, double promotion is also a social status now. The age at which graduates are being churned out now. When I was in school, an average graduate, we graduate at 25, 26, 27. Now you see 21, 22, graduate.
Even with masters and PhD.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, after that, they're like, okay, there's a good job, let me go and marry. You're not emotionally matured, you're not sound, but
if I may ask, in the older days, they married young. And they
married
sustained
young.
it. Yeah.
You are very correct. But the value system was strong. The preparation was strong. And the willingness to learn from your parents was also there.
But who then creates these values if not the same parents who are married back then when they were young? They're the same ones who are inculcating these principles into this generation XYZ. So in other words, we can't really blame these young people for saying that, you know, if I'm not attracted, you know, if there's no attraction, then there can't be love. Listen, first of all, when you're young, it's good. It's good to get married when you're young and have a family. Why? Because I wouldn't imagine, the other day I was having a conversation with a lady who's round about in her mid-40s and her eldest daughter is in her early 20s. And she was encouraging me, you know. She encouraged me and told me young people should actually settle and have children when they're younger. And perhaps you may differ. And she said that, you know, there reaches a generation gap that is so wide that how do you actually communicate in a way that this young person can understand? Now, should we blame our parents for not inculcating those values and teaching us the systems that are required? Because either way, if you're not attracted to someone, how then will you even get to the level of developing love?
All right. When you talk about the generation gap,
Yes.
there's also the flip side to it, where you have parents who are young and they nearly just behave like their children.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
You wouldn't tell the difference between a mother and a daughter. They both dressed up the same. They're going clubbing. They're nearly going after the same man and all that kind of thing. So it has a flip side to it,
Yeah,
right?
it has
Yes,
a flip
it
side.
does.
I absolutely
Then
agree.
how young is
Then
young
this is
and
it.
how old is
Now,
old?
this is the crux of the matter. I hate to shift blame. It's a personal responsibility. If your parents didn't train you well, they didn't, but you owe yourself that personal responsibility to retrain yourself and redevelop yourself. Now, this is a matter of choice.
And then there is also a lot of pressure from our peers. If they're going this direction, whether it's wrong or right, if my values are not right, if I don't know my worth, then I'll go after what the crowd is going after.
Because you want to fit in.
Because I want to fit in. Because I want to be carved into and be accepted. So
There's something that Lucy brought out, and I've had it several times. Whenever I'm talking to people, especially with young ladies, and sometimes I want to know why they've turned down people, and I keep on hearing that word chemistry. Define for me what this chemistry thing is all about, because sometimes you see ladies who are, you know, they're single, and the first thing they say, nobody has come, but it's not true. Then you realize several people have come, and then they say there was no chemistry. And sometimes you think that some of the people who've come their way would have actually made good spouses. So what is this chemistry that most young ladies look for?
Well, in my opinion and view, chemistry has something to do with, can we connect? Can we relate? Can we have that, you know, water, it just flows. When we talk to each other, are we struggling to kind of make a conversation? Are we, you know, are your jokes dry? You know, am I getting you, like mentally, I'm like, oh, I get that. Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. Like, we can actually spend time. We can even be friends. Like, there's chemistry. Like, there is that, you know, chemical reaction that takes place when we talk.
Is there room to learn the other person? Is there room to learn the other person? Like, okay, we didn't connect the first time, but I think that this person
that's
has
where attention comes in.
That's where even
that's where paying attention.
Sound values. This person has everything that I think would make him a good man for me, but we still didn't connect, and I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to work my way around. Is there room for that? Or we just have to hit it off on the first date?
Absolutely. There's definitely room for that. But even as time goes, I feel as though you will make that decision. You can actually find someone who has the values. You know, you can see yourself settling down.
No. I don't agree.
All right. Okay. All right.
Flip side to what you just said, which I agree with you, striking chemistry at first sight, is it is also possible to strike chemistry at first sight, then afterwards the chemistry disappears.
It's true.
And I was just about to ask that, like, what happens when you have somebody, there's chemistry but there's no character? There's chemistry but there's no consistency. And it's very difficult to find one person who is the whole package. Right? It's very difficult to find one person who's the whole package. We have the chemistry, he pays the bills, he opens the car doors, he does this. Could it be that we also are looking for partners that don't exist?
I think we are.
We're putting focus on...
Good. This is it. There is no ready-made man. There's no ready-made woman. Anyway, as a matter of fact, I humorously say, if you meet someone that fits 100% into your ideal man, ideal woman, when you'll be scared, you will run away.
Oh, they belong to somebody.
So, a lot of times we're also not ready to do the work because you have to fine-tune, you have to scrape, you have to be patient with each other and fix the puzzle.
Yes, I would wrap it up and say this, that attraction is falling in love. And love is standing in love.
Attraction is falling in love.
Yes. Because someday it will fade.
All right. But there's the other aspect also that Lucy brought up, that you don't just need to get attracted to the physical aspect, that you could be attracted to something else. How important is that?
It's very important in a relationship.
In fact, it's the most important.
Yes.
Thank you. So
it may not be the physical appearance, like you're handsome, you're tall, you're dark, and all those ideals, yes? But there's a kind person in you.
Your heart.
A loving person, caring, you know, committed. Yeah,
generous,
so those are things, yes, those are things
loyal.
that is attraction, and that's why we began by saying there cannot be love without.
But Lucy, some of these things may not come out immediately. That's why even when Pastor is asking, can we give room to discover this thing in our partner or in this other person? And yes, you will discover this thing along the way, and now that love becomes committed love. Not
probably
just
then we need to talk
attraction.
about we need to talk about then probably what sustains a relationship. What makes a relationship work?
What makes a relationship work is friendship. You have to be friends with each other. That is why, and that is also one of the reasons for high rates of divorce now. Because you just met someone, 7 months, 8 months, you're marrying. I've seen people that have been married for 30 years. They're still discovering each other. So what sustains love is friendship, because you can love someone and there's no friendship in that love.
So what's the importance of friendship then? In it, what does it help us do when we are friends? What does it help us do?
It gives us room.
Loyalty, commitment is all tied to friendship. That's what friends do.
It helps us allow to give this person room to express who they really are. I'm a friend. Can I be a true friend? Can you see the real me? I don't need to cover up. I don't need a mask to pretend
naked
before
and
you.
not ashamed.
Yes, me, myself. And then besides friendship, there's also respect. When I respect my husband, I think that goes way beyond so many other things that we could term as some of the things that really sustain marriage. So friendship, respect, and then that love and all the other things that come along with that. It's a package.
Yeah, I like to add on to that trust. I feel like what sustains a relationship also has to do with trust, because, you know, if you put your phone, when I put my phone on the table, I'm okay. I have no passwords in my phone, by the way, and therefore you should be able to do the same thing, and it shouldn't be suspicious when you pick up a phone call and go answer it privately somewhere else. I should be able to know that, oh, well, okay, fine, it's work and all this. So trust goes a long way as well. And yes.
Well, talking about trust, and then you brought up the issue of the phone. If I trust you, do I have the need to check your phone?
Absolutely. You don't have the need. Exactly. And that's why it's okay for you to leave your phone, pick your phone whenever we're together. You know, you don't.
So what happens if I put my password because of the office? You know, I've got these Snoopy people, or I've got some documents on the phone. Yeah. Does the password, is it synonymous with lack of trust?
No.
Not really.
No.
Okay.
But then I should also know the password.
Yes.
What about, you know, you talked about a phone calls, like somebody's going to pick out a phone call outside. What about if it's a sensitive issue where I think my spouse is not prepared to hear what I'm dealing with? Because there's also that element of protecting your spouse. Sometimes it is something that may affect them. It's not like you're trying to hide it, but you're just trying to protect them.
The timing is not right.
So I'm dealing with the auctioneers. They're coming after me. I'm still trying to handle this situation. I'm not sure she can handle the fact that we're going down. And so I feel like I need to handle this, and I'll communicate to her in a manner that she can consume it. Is that lack of trust?
No, it's not lack of trust. It's discretion. And also, if the spouse trusts you, he or she knows that eventually whatever you took outside is coming to my table.
You will bring it back. Yeah, yeah. So in the building of trust, let's see, how do we build trust? How do we build trust? Because it's easy to say, you know, we need to
Trust
have
each
trust.
other.
How do we build trust?
That's a very good question, because the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and I wondered, I asked myself the same thing. How can you, first of all, I have to understand that it will take time. It's earned. It can't just come automatically. It's something that develops with time. It starts with the little things. I, as an individual, normally pay attention to the things that I am told. So when you tell me one thing, today I'm not going to be available, I'm going to this place, and I happen to go to a different place, and I see you there, there's something that has been injured in my building up to my trust. So it takes time. It's the little things you tell. It's just making a decision that you will be honest with this person, and you'll be honest with yourself. So that's where trust begins. It begins with, you know, first of all, as an individual, work on yourself. Are you trustworthy? You know, are you yourself trustworthy? In order to expect something from someone else, you know, are you willing to give the same thing? So then also, while you're doing this, give them room. Give them room. This one is hard, as I say. Give them room to, you know, as they, like you just said, the husband walks out and he says the right time will come when he can tell me. So then, as an individual, give them room and trust that they will tell you whatever it is that's bothering them. You know, have that grace.
And they will tell you the truth,
that
right?
They will tell you the truth. But give them time, because if they don't tell you in due time, then you need to cause the alarm.
Now, were these things present in, for example, I'm going to use a case of arranged marriages as a study of, you know, the love without attraction. Were these things present? Because I know, like the Indian culture, they do the same thing. They arrange, you know, they just, families decide, my son will get married to your daughter when they're probably 6 years, 7 years or something, 11 years, and they decide, you know, my son will get married to your daughter. And they're growing up being told, that's going to be your wife. And eventually they get married. And I know of somebody who's one of my mentors, and he's been married for nearly 50 years, and that was the case. That was the case. There was nothing that, you know, like they loved each other. It was just families agree, and they do that a lot. So do they exhibit this values, those virtues? Do they bring them out in that, or how do they go about it when it is prearranged?
I think as they now come to live together, and as Lucy is saying, it takes time. You build onto this relationship. So it's not something that happens immediately, but it takes time. So they build these values on each other as they're growing together. Plus, I think there are some cultures that really cultivate or really invest in such values. So they really instill them on their children. Yes.
Now, for me, you mentioned how do we build trust previously. I also want to chip in that you build trust by consistency of character, consistent display of character. If you're consistent, there's no need for me to doubt you or not trust you. Now, talking about using the specific case study you presented, the Indians, in that case, you've been told from 11 that this is going to be your wife. Even if you don't like her, you start liking her till you get to. So I guess there's a psychological and mental preparation already. And also, I know that the Indians, they have strong family system.
And I was about to ask that. Does accountability help?
Yes,
It does help.
It does
help big time.
Yeah. Is that one of the things that we have failed to do? Everybody's making their own decisions?
It's part
Yes,
of
I
it.
think
Yes.
part of it, yes. Yeah.
Part of it, yes.
Lucy, should we get back to the place where we are accountable? You know, I make a decision, this is the person I'm going to be with. I think she would be a good wife. And then we are held accountable so that we stay in marriage. You know, Dr. Shogo talked about responsibility, decision, talked about choice. Then Milka added, what did you add to that? Respect.
Respect.
But what do you think? Like, if two people who didn't like each other are brought together and then there's an accountability system, you think that can work?
You know, I like that you've actually outlined and made it clear that accountability plays a huge role when it comes to cementing that family setup and also the beliefs. But then again, we have to ask ourselves, is it that we are saying then, we who are not in that culture, is it that we are not mature enough to be, you know, responsible to actually, because then we have more cases in this other culture whereby we have divorces and whatnot, as opposed to this other culture for the Asians, for example, whereby, you know, the whole family is involved, you know, they even live together, you know, they grow up being okay, you marry and live within the home, so we know each other, there's that support system, right? But then when we flip over to, we believe that we are mature and we can make our own decisions. So are we saying that we cannot? Because then, in that case, imagine being able to accept what it is that your parents have chosen for you. This is who you marry. You know, we will be living in this one big area. You know, even whoever you will marry.
Isn't that how Africans are wired? We're just winding up. But do you think that part of our issues is that we moved out of our default setting?
Absolutely.
And so we're trying to embrace the Western culture to say that we are liberated, but we are wired in a certain way and we're struggling with it. Yeah? And they have been able to preserve their culture without losing modernization.
Yes, because I realized the 21st century parent, the volume of attention they pay to their kids is almost not existing at all. So these kids are mentored by TVs, by magazines, by their friends. So they are exposed to a lot, and that is part of where they fault.
So we have an identity crisis. Well, this is all the time that we have had for you today on Talk to Pastor Chris. Tell me what you think. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style, and the hashtag is Talk to Pastor Chris. Remember to follow us at KTN Life_Style for both Twitter and Instagram, KTN Life and Style on Facebook. You could also follow me at CJ Atemo, both on Twitter and Instagram, and the page CJ Atemo on Facebook. Well, my style story is coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Keep it right here after the break.